Hello everybody! Today we are going to make one of my family's favorite recipes, homemade macaroni and cheese. My name is Deb from Just Do Something Homestead, and today we're going to learn how easy it is to make homemade macaroni and cheese that your family will love. The first thing I'm going to do is set the oven for 375. I am going to melt a 1/4 cup of butter on the stove in a medium saucepan. Once the butter is melted, you're going to add a 1/4 cup of flour and a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Blend that in until it's all mixed together. The oven is ready. When it starts to get bubbly, I'm going to stir in 3 cups of milk. A lot of macaroni and cheese call for 2 cups of milk. I like this recipe because it indeed has 3 cups. This recipe I have been using for over 30 years. Originally, it was found on the back of the generic macaroni and cheese box, but it has certainly become our family's favorite. I've turned up the heat slightly and I am going to continue stirring non-stop until this has thickened. And when I say thickened, it's going to be very thick. So just continue doing it. You will see it transform from a liquid into something that is more solid, and you know at that point that it's ready to shut off. I am going to now cut 8 ounces of cheddar cheese into cubes, which I am going to add to the milk mixture once it is thickened. I'm going to cut my cheese into small pieces. Now I store this in my freezer, and because of that, it makes it so it's very crumbly. In fact, it is easier to use it this way because it won't take as long to melt in my mixture. So what your goal is to make small chunks so that it is easy to melt. Just like this, and this is very good. I'm still stirring the milk. It is now getting hot. It's steaming, but it has not gotten thick yet. I have the cheese ready to stir in as soon as the milk is thick. While the milk mixture is cooking, I am now going to start a pot of boiling water to cook the macaroni. So I'm going to turn this on high. The consistency has changed in my milk mixture and is now getting thicker. So at this point, I'm going to turn down the temperature and I'm going to add the cheese. I've added 8 ounces of cheese, and now I'm going to stir it until it's melted. My cheese has melted into the sauce, and now I have a cheese sauce that is ready to be added to the macaroni. So I'm going to move this to the back burner and let it cool off just a little bit. While my water has started to boil for the macaroni, I'm going to measure 8 ounces, which is 1 cup of dried macaroni. Now, when I had all the kids at home, I would easily double this recipe. Sometimes I would even put it in the crock pot and put a liner in and put it in there on low, and it was such a wonderful meal for the kids. I vacuum sealed the elbow macaroni, and what I do is I always put when I sealed it and how long it needs to cook. So let's see if I can get the lid off. Listen for the seal to pop. Just like that, so you know it was indeed sealed. My water is boiling, so I'm going to add 1 cup of macaroni and stir it up. I'm going to cook the macaroni for 8 minutes. Put that on the timer. Alright, so I dumped the macaroni and now I'm going to drain well. I drained the macaroni over my sink, and I'm going to make sure by stirring it around that I get all the extra water out of the macaroni. I am using a 2-quart baking dish to put my macaroni in. I do not need to spray it. This is a glazed stoneware. If you have something where it would stick, I would recommend spraying it. But for this one, I just put all the macaroni into the baking dish. I like using this, it's glazed, and when we are all finished eating, I can just put that pan into the dishwasher and it will clean. Now I'm going to stir in my cheese sauce right on top of that macaroni, and I am going to stir it in very well. All right, so once I have it on there, I start stirring. And every time I always think, oh, that's not very much macaroni. I should put more macaroni in. But the reality is, if you want a nice, moist macaroni and cheese, don't add more macaroni. You're going to need it all. It's very cheesy at this point, but that's exactly what you want. So I'm going to stir it in, make sure I get it inside all those macaroni, just like that. This is what your macaroni and cheese looks like before you bake it. This is a good time to stir in some of your family favorites. So maybe you want to add diced ham. Maybe you want to add, like my family, like sliced green olives. Any of these things can be added to make it a little more special to your family. I'm now going to put this in the oven and bake it for 15 minutes. That's all, 15 minutes. Look at this wonderful homemade macaroni and cheese. It is thick and creamy. What I do when I pull it out of the oven is I let it cool just a little because it's very, very hot. I am gonna scoop some of that macaroni and cheese up. Oh my goodness, it looks wonderful. Just like that. If you found this macaroni and cheese recipe perfect for your family, please subscribe, share, and like. And thank you so much for joining us. Remember, you can't do everything, but just do something. Have a great night. Bye-bye.